Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Unique Not Different with me, Shamla. Today, I'm very excited because this is the soft launch of TTT in collaboration with the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Economic and Academic Studies at the University of the West Indies Disability Cluster, where they will be doing a soft launch of their campaign that has been happening since 2022. And today I have Dr. Bephyer Parey, who is the chair of the Disability Research Cluster, to give us some context behind this. And at the end of this interview, we will have a very inspiring video as a trailer. So look out for that. So good morning, Dr. Parey. How are you doing?
Good morning, Shamla. Good morning, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. So let's begin. What was the genesis behind and aim behind this Disability Research Cluster?
So thank you again for having me. And to answer your question, so the Disability Studies Research Cluster is one of a series of research clusters at the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies at the University of the West Indies. And these clusters were created to advance our mission of influencing academic, public, and policy debates through research. And specific to the Disability Study Research Cluster, the aim is to conduct research related to persons with disabilities in the Caribbean region. And the intention is for our research to contribute towards evidence-based policies focused on improving the lives of persons with disabilities. And while the primary focus of the cluster is research, within the cluster, there is scope for other activities such as public forums and public awareness projects.
Why did you see the need to have a public awareness campaign highlighting persons with disability to achieve the aim of this research?
So very important question. So I think we're all aware that currently persons with disabilities are generally excluded from various aspects of society. Yes, of course, there has been increased inclusion. We see you on television, but to a larger extent, persons with disabilities are excluded from society. And this includes education, employment, and religious and leisure activities, just to name a few. To improve the livelihoods of persons with disabilities, they need to be included in society. And the biggest barrier to the inclusion of persons with disabilities in society is public attitudes. And specific to Trinidad and Tobago, based on our research, there are very poor attitudes towards the inclusion of persons with disabilities. And we're talking about the attitudes of school principals, educators, employers, public servants, and even in some cases, carers of persons with disabilities. And what these attitudes reflect is a view that persons with disabilities are incapable of contributing to society. And with this view, the various stakeholders were unwilling to provide accommodations to support the inclusion of persons with disabilities. So based on our research, one of the recommendations we made was the need for increased public awareness about disability. And specifically, it's very important to emphasize that persons with disabilities are also human beings who have equal rights. And the Public Awareness Project is meant to contribute as part of the implementation of the recommendation.
So you mentioned that one of the outcomes of this is to have a public awareness campaign. What are some of the other outcomes that stood out to you based on this research?
Right. So to answer the question, allow me to share some background information about the research I'm referring to. I want to take the opportunity as well to acknowledge other cluster members involved in research. So they are Dr. Elizabeth Kutcher and Ms. Hannah Inaitula. And so our cluster team, through a memorandum of understanding between the University of the West Indies and the Equal Opportunity Commission, had the opportunity to analyze complaints lodged by persons with disabilities with the Equal Opportunity Commission. And through our analysis of the lodged complaints, what we learned was that there are limitations of our national legislative framework in promoting the rights of persons with disabilities. And it's a number of limitations, too many to go through here, but essentially persons with disabilities experience denied access to education, and delayed provision to various goods and services such as grants and housing. There's also the case where persons, when they acquire a disability, even when the disability is acquired on the job, they experience immediate job termination. And unfortunately, the legislative framework in its current form is unable to address these challenges. So there is a need for changes to our national legislative framework, and that is a key finding. What I want to point out, though, is that even with an adequate legislative framework, positive public attitudes are important to ensure its implementation. And as I mentioned before, our research highlighted the poor attitudes of various stakeholders in society. And what's important to note is that these attitudes that are a violation of human rights, as well as emotional distress among persons with disabilities. And something else of importance is when persons with disabilities are denied or receive delayed access to various goods and services, it's not just persons with disabilities who are affected by these experiences. Their families are also affected. So coming back to the public awareness project, changing the perceptions towards persons with disabilities will not only improve the lives of these persons, but also the lives of their families.
I mentioned that the campaign started in 2022. So how was this campaign executed and what mediums were used since then to achieve this goal of public awareness?
So thank you, Shamla, for that question, a very important question. I want to start off by acknowledging that the project was partially funded by the Office of the Dean of the Faculty of Social Sciences and the Office of the Pro-Vice Chancellor of Graduate Studies and Research at the University of the West Indies. The remaining expenses were paid out of pocket. And to realize the project, we had support from the Marketing and Communications Office at the University of the West Indies, as well as from Nadir Ali Productions Limited. The project was initially a social media campaign. So for 30 days, starting on December 5th, 2022, we highlighted 30 Trinbagonians with disabilities and the contributions they were making to society. And we did this via various social media platforms. And this was done also through videos and online articles. And then, of course, we had the pleasure here last year of bringing awareness to the project and its message right here on your segment. And since then, through a partnership between the cluster and yourself, participants from the project were further highlighted on your segment. And the message of our Disability Awareness Project is that persons with disabilities can also contribute to society and that more persons with disabilities should be given the opportunity to contribute. And when we say given the opportunity to contribute, I'm talking about their inclusion in society. And we would like for that message to reach as widely as possible. And the cluster is therefore delighted and thankful to partner with TTT to disseminate the videos from the Public Awareness Project.
So congratulations on that. The partnership with TTT, that will bring more exposure and mainstream exposure. So what are some of these stories that do we expect to see and hear? And what impact do you think it will have, being aired on mainstream media to the population?
So, like I mentioned, there were 30 participants. They all spoke about their contributions to society. They also spoke about their disabilities and the challenges they experience while making contributions to society. And the narratives that everyone is going to hear are powerful stories of optimism and resilience. They also offered insights into various ways we can build an inclusive society, so a society where they're included. The videos were created in commemoration of International Day of Persons with Disabilities, and our participants share the message to persons without disabilities. And the hope is that their message offers food for thought for the public and bring about a changed perspective with regards to disability and persons with disabilities. It's also hoped that the videos will serve as inspiration to other persons with disabilities facing similar challenges. So just to speak about a study I did recently, it was on the education experiences of students with disabilities, and there were many issues highlighted, again, too many to go through here. But what the parents in the study shared is that they had to search the internet to find stories of other persons with disabilities to motivate their children and to help them overcome their challenges. But these stories were from other countries. So I'm happy that through the Disability Awareness Project, we can offer some local stories about disability and that the participants from the project can serve as role models. And just before I end, as I mentioned before, part of this LISA's mission is to influence public and policy debates. And I'm hoping that these stories will incite needed change in Trinidad and Tobago society regarding policy and legislation.
Dr. Parey, I want to say thank you so much for doing this project and your passion. I know personally how passionate you are in terms of disability studies, and you dedicate your life and most of your time on this. So thank you so much, and thank you so much for doing this project in general. Guys, before I wrap, I want to say that I personally had an intimate discussion with each one of some of the participants that you would see, and they are very inspiring. And something that stood out is that they all accepted themselves, and they all either created their own opportunity or sort out their opportunities in society. And with that being said, I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to this week's segment of Unique Not Different. And I introduce you to the trailer of this disability awareness project. As I always say, be good, do enjoy. Bye, guys.
My name is Ron Nicholas McEwen, and I am autistic.
I am Darius Ramnath.
Ane Maharaj.
My name is Justin Jarvis. I am 26 years old from Ghana, Mayaro.
My name is Mayana Innes. I am a paraplegic, 4 years now. I am paralyzed on my waist down.
Hello, I am Jamal Leger, and my disability, I'm from the deaf and hard of hearing community.
My name is Beverly Ann Fitzallen. I'm a totally blind person. I've been blind for 40 years.
My name is Trisha Bruce. I was born with congenital glaucoma, and as a result, I am low vision.
Hello, hi, my name is Shari Walker. I have a common hearing loss in both ears.
I began my new life as a disabled person from the age of 35, after being a nurse for over 20 years.
My name is Dr. Bephyer Parey, and I am a Jnr Research Fellow at the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute of Social and Economic Studies at the University of the West Indies. But there is a need to highlight the contributions persons with disabilities are making to Trinidad and Tobago society.